Let's check in with Debbie Hines, our trial lawyer, former prosecutor, legal political commentator, and our eyeballs on and ears on the Trayvon Martin murder, George Zimmerman on trial for murder trial. Debbie, welcome back.
Well, thank you, Tom.
Great to have you with us. So what happened today?
Well, finally, Rachel Gentile, who is the witness, what they're calling the state's star witness, got off the witness stand after being on yesterday and today for a total of 5 hours for a cell phone conversation that lasted minutes with Trayvon Martin.
Mm-hmm. And what did she? I saw some of the testimony yesterday and some this morning, and I saw a headline about crackers today too. What's the essence of all this? What?
Well, we have to go back to what is the theme that the state is trying to prove, which is that Trayvon was profiled, he was pursued, and that he was killed for no reason other than George Zimmerman could kill him. So what she does is adds the pursuit aspect of it. Mm-hmm. And so when she's on the phone and she's talking to Trayvon as he's being followed, and, he's saying that this blank cracker is following me. Mm-hmm. And, she's telling him to run. He's saying, well, no, I'm almost home. And they're just having back and forth conversation. She's saying, well, maybe it's a rapist. And he's like, no, don't say that. So she does establish that there's the pursuit. Now, with respect to the cracker comment, when the defense got a hold of her, Don West, he tries to turn it, which is what the defense is trying to do, is turn it into that Trayvon Martin was the one that had the racial animosity towards George Zimmerman by the use of that name.
And that cracker in the black community was like the use of the N-word in the white community.
Right.
And I don't know how that's going to fly down there.
She explained that. They asked her, and it's just a matter of whether people believe her. She said that in her world that's not offensive. That's just a statement that he was saying. It's not.
I'll tell you, in my world, that's not offensive.
Derogatory. And they just went back and forth on that about why she didn't say that in her conversation to his mother. And she says, well, I didn't want to say that to his mother, but,
Yeah. Yeah, well, I got to tell you, in my world, that's not offensive. If somebody called me a cracker, I'd look at them funny, like, what do you mean? But
right.
It's not. The Caucasians have not been the oppressed race in this country.
Correct.
And there's a real different thing about having been the victims of genocide and slavery versus having been the people who were perpetrating it.
Correct.
And whatever labels are attached to that, well, I've said enough. I want to hear
I don't think they got anywhere with that, but oh my God, the defense did spend a fair amount of time on the use of the word cracker.
Yeah, amazing. So one of the commentaries that I saw last night. In fact, it was I'll just lay it out. I was watching Anderson Cooper on CNN. Okay. And he's got a defense lawyer on there, and a couple of defense lawyers, a couple of prosecution lawyers, and one of the defense lawyers pointed out, and I thought it was sort of in code, but I'll decode it. I think he said, "I don't think this witness is going to be that credible with this jury," and I took that to me, and then framed by the context of the conversation around it. I think that what he was saying is that you've got a jury that is mostly white and one Latino. There's no African Americans on the jury, and you've got an African American on the stand, and whether you claim that you're not racist or not, the fact of the matter is that everybody is racist at some deep level, not necessarily screaming racist, but
right.
We've seen the reports, we've seen the studies. I took that test that Harvard came out with about 15 years ago, and I never thought there was any part of racism in me. There's a racial preference there. Surprise! It's pretty much the case for everybody. So, what are your thoughts on that? And is that a part of, do you think, the strategy of the defense in trying to?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Go for it.
Absolutely. That is definitely the strategy of the defense. What they're trying to do is to subtly get in racism to their advantage on the case. So, yes, they're going to, in closing, they're going to basically use how she looked and how she came across in terms of arguing the credibility, but those are the subtle nuances of racism. They've also tried to twist the fact that, that the cracker aspect, that it was really Trayvon who was the racist one in this regard, and it wasn't George Zimmerman who was the one who's made all these phone calls to the police complaining about African Americans looking suspicious in his neighborhood, which has already come out earlier in the week. So yes, they're going to try to, twist it around. They've already tried to twist it subtly around in opening by saying that it was Trayvon Martin who had taken all these fighting courses, and he was really the, like the teenage black Incredible Hulk, where George Zimmerman just wasn't that athletic.
Oh. Seriously, I missed that. I didn't.
Yes, they in opening, Don West talked about how Trayvon was, took some fighting courses. I don't know if there was exact wording when he was describing the size of Trayvon Martin versus George Zimmerman, and he goes on to detail about how George Zimmerman, was in the gym and had lost weight before, because apparently he was heavy, like not as heavy as he is now, but he was heavier before, lost weight, but he was just told he just was not that, physically, athletic.
Right. Do you think that there's any? I mean, George Zimmerman has gained 100 pounds since he killed Trayvon Martin.
Right.
Do you think that is, like a guy who's depressed and scared and eating too much, or do you think that that's like the defense said? If you really look like somebody who's not at all physically fit, they're more likely to believe that you got beat up by a guy who was.
I've heard that. I don't think that he gained the weight as a part of a trial strategy. Because he's not sympathetic looking that heavy. We all, as we have race issues with people with race and ethnicity, we have to be real. We also have issues with people who are heavy and overweight.
Right.
So I don't think that would have been a strategy for him to gain weight. He could have gained a little weight if they didn't want him to look like he was in shape, but his attorney's saying he gained 110, 125 pounds in a year. I just think that was stress. Yeah,
I suspect so too. So what's your sense of where the two, to kind of horse race this, which is I hate to take it to the simple denominator, but I'm curious. I can't, who seems to be ahead here? Who's doing well? Is the defense or the prosecution, and why?
Well, at this stage, it would be the prosecution, and it's only because they're in control of the situation. This is their side of the case, and you always have to be reminded that we've only heard really their side. Although the defense has been able to cross-examine the witnesses, they haven't had their day up at bat. So at this point, yes, it does favor the prosecution. It's still a tight case, and I've always said a circumstantial case is never a slam dunk. It's a very difficult case to prove, but we're only really hearing this side, and the defense hasn't been able to make that many inroads in with the witnesses. They've made, obviously, some points, but I don't think they've made a lot of points that go to the germane issues of profile, pursuit, and killing because you could.
Right. We have a little less than a minute, Debbie. The defense has witnesses, presumably. Have they published the list?
Oh, yes. What you do is everybody publishes voluminous lists, so there's no way to know who they're actually going to put on. I mean, everybody's published like about over 100 possible witnesses that they could come up with.
Does anything on that list pop out at you as
testify until they actually take the witness stand?
Does anybody on that list pop out to you as this could be a problem?
No, I think that you pretty much know who the witnesses were going to be because of the 911 calling. Right. And so because of the transcript. So I don't think there are going to be any surprises in that regard. I'd be surprised if George Zimmerman takes the stand.
Yeah, I think everybody would. Okay, Debbie Hines, a trial lawyer, former prosecutor, political legal commentator over at LegalSpeaks.com. You can read Debbie's work over at LegalSpeaks.com. Debbie, thanks so much for being with us.
Tom, great talking.
Always great talking with you, too. We'll be right back.